I have a strong feeling that this has gone too far. I have way too many whips. I opened my drawer and turned out that I have at least 11 works in progress. So in this video, I will show you all my whips and I will decide whether I will finally finish them or I will frog them. Let's go! Hello and welcome to the Bare Knitting Podcast. In this video, I will dive deep into my drawers and will dig out my works in progress that were long forgotten or abandoned or just left without attention for any reason. And in the end, hopefully, I will decide the destiny for each of the projects. I will not go through my projects from the oldest to the newest or vice versa. I will just pick them up randomly, show them to you, maybe find out the reason why they were abandoned or forgotten, and hopefully will decide what I will do with them in the future. And the first project that I want to show you is the Stonecrop cardigan from Andrea Mowry. If you've been for a while on my channel, you probably already noticed that I have made a lot of patterns from Andrea Mowry, and I like her patterns and how they look and their style, and usually I finish them, but not with this one. For this sweater, I use a combination of those two yarns. The main color is Brook Farm from Gathering Yarn, and another one for the contrasted color is Sul from Hillesvåg Ullefabrik, Norwegian. And this one is British, and they have a nice combination, I think, but I'm not quite sure if it is a good combination for this sweater, because I think the main reason why on some point I stopped knitting on it is because I felt like the fabric that it is making is not dense enough for my feeling. Even though I made a swatch, I don't know if you would see it on the video, even though I made a swatch and it looks okay after I blocked it, but still while knitting on it I had the feeling that it is not dense enough, and I will not be as happy as I could be while I will be wearing the sweater. And also another point that it is a cardigan, so I would need to stick it here in the middle. And once I stick it, there is no way back. And those doubts that I had regarding the fabric that I'm getting, it was just like, you know, stopping me. And every time I would pick up and knit this sweater, I was like, well, I don't know, maybe I should rethink or maybe go down the needle size, but then the gauge will not be the same as the pattern recommends, so I would need to do some calculation what size I would need to do, you know. It required some brain power, so I just didn't feel motivated enough on some point to finish it, and very likely I will frog it, because the sleeve also turned out a bit too small. Maybe I should have gone up a needle size when I was making the sleeves to make it slightly bigger, because the sweater itself, it almost doesn't have a negative ease according to the pattern, if I remember correct, at least on the photos the designer, when she's wearing the sweater, it looks like it almost doesn't have positive ease. So the sleeves also are quite tight on the arms, but when I was taking it on, when I was knitting it, I felt like it is a little bit too hard for me to push my arms through the sleeve. Even, I mean, it like for example this one, it is quite fitted, but it's still it is okay. And also it is not a color work, because in the color work sweater you have the strands behind on the wrong side. And it might create some difficulties while you are taking it on or off. So all in all, I have a strong feeling that I just have to unravel it and either go up a size and down the needle size. So, you know, do some calculation how I need to combine those two, or just make something else, because both yarns are amazing, and yeah, this colorful one, it brings me a lot of joy with all the color changes. So yeah, probably frog pile. The next project that I'm working on is my own design. It is a very simple raglan sweater. And as you can see, the body is almost done. I need to bind off the back of the hem and make sleeves. And this one is one of the most recent works in progress. And it's not abandoned or anything. I'm slowly working on it. As I mentioned, this is my design, and my intention is to make a video tutorial about all the steps that you have to make the sweater. And it takes time, you know, because I knit a little bit, and then I need to film what the next step is, and then I need to continue knitting, and then, you know, there are all these jumps here and there, and that's why it just like, it is not as smooth as you would normally make something that you are knitting. But it has this, okay, today I'm ready to make the video, so I'm making it, and then, yeah, and now I need to work for a while, for example, yeah, with the body, you know, you just show what to do in the area where you split into sleeves and the body, and then you just need to knit, and you have like a couple of days or weeks, depending how quick you knit. You have some time for knitting, and then again you need to shoot the video. So there is a lot of back and forth with this one, but I really hope that it will not take much, because only the sleeves are left. So yeah, hopefully I will finish it soon. And if you are interested in a very simple raglan sweater, just check out my channel very soon. Hopefully I will release it. So definitely I will finish this one. Next work in progress is one of the oldest ones, is my square blanket. Grandma square blanket, I guess, is the proper name for it. I'm not following any pattern for that one. I just cast on 20 stitches on one side and 20 stitches on the other side, and decrease every other row. And also then once I'm done with one square, I pick up stitches on one side and make another one. And this is how I started. And once I'm further into the middle of the blanket, I pick up stitches on one side of the square and on the other side, and yeah, 20 stitches here, 20 stitches here, and then decrease every other row. So this is how I make those squares. It takes a lot of time. And this is also the blanket that I'm making mostly from the leftover yarn. So, you know, you never know which color you will get leftovers with eventually. And yeah, and also the main color, I have this white Rauma 100% sport weight yarn. So yeah, this one is not a leftover, obviously. This one I just, yeah, have plenty of balls, and all the rest is leftovers. And also with this one, I'm on the stage when I can already use it as a blanket, because it is long enough, oops, over here on one side. So when I'm, I don't know, watching TV or knitting or doing anything that I need some warmth in my legs, it is big enough to put it on my legs. And I guess this is also another reason why I'm not as motivated in finishing it, because I can already use it. So yeah, it is going slow. One thing that I think I'm doing well is I'm weaving in the ends while I'm going. It's, I mean, it's not like immediately. So I have the ends somewhere here, but every once in a while I just pick it up and weave in like, I don't know, 20, 30 ends at a time. By doing that, I really hope that I will not be demotivated in finishing it eventually when I'm done with all the squares, because the ends will be weaved in already. So I'll just have to finish those smaller parts. And also my intention is to, once I'm done with all the squares, to knit the border in the same main white color around the square, around the blanket. But of course I need to finish with the squares. So I'm not pushing this blanket too much, because, you know, it's leftover yarn, and I'm knitting for quite a while now, and I'm not planning to stop. So anyway, I will have some leftovers all the time, and I have some purpose for them where I can use them. That's why, yeah, definitely not a frogging pile. Definitely will finish it, but yeah, not sure when. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. This will help me to show this video to more people. And let's continue to the next work in progress. It is also one of the very, very old ones. It is the hat that I designed, or I don't know how to say it. It is not my design itself. It is Marius' design. I talked about the Marius designs, and that is being considered as a Norwegian traditional design in my previous video about my most worn sweaters. So this one I started making some maybe 4 or 5 years ago for my husband. And the problem with that was that I didn't follow any head pattern for that. I just swatched the gauge to check the gauge that I'm getting with this yarn. And yeah, measured his head to determine how much of the stitches, how many of the stitches I need to cast on, and how many of them will work with the pattern itself. Because I don't remember how many stitches there are, like 24, 26, maybe more even. I don't remember. It was like 4 years ago in this pattern repeat. Anyway, I made this part, and it fits well. We checked with him, but the decreases, they didn't work out. And I believe this one, it is my second attempt with making the crown shaping work, but as you can guess, it didn't work out, and I need to unravel it again and try the decreasing for the third time, and I hope it will work out. I just need to use my brain power again to decide what I need to do and how I need to do it to make it look nice. So I don't want to give up on this one, and I think my husband, he still waits for the head to be finished. Of course, I made a couple of more heads for him. It's not the only head, so that he waits for 4 years. But you know, I promised that I will do it, and it would be nice to actually do it. So yeah, I will not forget. I need to finish it. Another fresh work in progress is the Ooey Gooey sweater by Andrea Mowry, and this one is, I started it, I think, in July when I was traveling to the north. If you haven't seen the video about my camper van travel and knitting journey to the north, you can find it on my channel, or I will put a link somewhere here so you can see what adventures I had with this one there. So as I mentioned, it's quite fresh, and I don't have much left to finish it. I think the last time I tried it, it was maybe 1-2 centimeters left of the body, and then I could proceed to the hem. Not much, again, not much left. We'll definitely finish this one, as I love the colors and really want to start wearing it. Not a frog pile for sure. So need to finish this one too. Speaking of frogging, I have a work in progress that I will definitely frog. There is nothing wrong with it, and I think I would have enough yarn, and I think I would like it. And my intention was to make a very, very simple raglan and embroider something on top of it. I never made anything knitted that I would embroider afterwards, and I wanted to try it. But on some point, when I started designing my own garments, and not only garments, accessories and stuff, I had an idea for a shawl for this yarn because, yeah, the color is amazing. And I thought, you know what? I don't want the sweater in this color. It will be a great shawl for winter time. And I just wanted somewhere when I can see it, when I have it on top of my jacket or something. I just want to enjoy it for longer. I don't know. I just feel like it will bring me more joy than a sweater. For this one, I have a brioche shawl design online, and hopefully it will work out, as I really want to finish something with it because I just love this yarn. So fingers crossed, and frog pile. And here is another fresh work in progress. It is a traveler hoodie by Andrea Mowry. I started working on it when I was traveling to the north, and I had this big plan of making it during a travel, because it is a traveler hoodie and the name was speaking to me. And the yarn, it is amazing. For the sweater, I'm using Dansk Pelsull from Holst, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It is a fingering weight yarn with an amazing red color. I love it. It has light and dark undertones in it. It is just amazing. I don't know why I stopped knitting on it. There is nothing wrong with the pattern, with the design, with the yarn. It's amazing. I love the color. And also, this is my second version of the Traveler. The first one is probably the most worn sweater that I made so far. So altogether, it is just screaming that I need to finish it finally. But maybe, I don't know, maybe because this is the fingering weight yarn and there is a lot of purling, and it has its ups and downs. When I'm super motivated, I cannot leave it from my hands, and on some point I just stopped and I just don't pick it up. But I should, yeah, but I should definitely finish it, and of course it will go to the finish it pile. And I have another old work in progress that I want to show you. This is the Harbour Cowl by Andrea Wilson. It is a long one. So it is intended as 2 wraps around the neck. Let me try it out. And it is a big one. So basically just need to finish it. And for that, I will use the Kitchener stitch to join those 2 sides together. And it will be done. But I'm not sure what was stopping me. Maybe because the length of the scarf that I have, it is shorter than in the design, and I kind of like the length that I already have. I don't want to make it longer because this is a very dense scarf and I'm planning to wear it when it is windy and very, very cold, as there is a lot of dense fabric because of the color work and 2 sides of the scarf itself. So definitely for colder days. And for that, I want the scarf fit very well. I don't want it to be too big because otherwise the wind will be jumping in between of my neck and the scarf. So I want it to be as dense as it is right now. But why I'm not finishing it, because as you can see, the pattern will not match if I just join the scarf together at this point, as I already started the color work on the edge. So I would need to either continue with the color work and unravel part of on this side, or unravel this part and it will be too tight. That's why, again, brain capacity needed here to decide how I want to proceed with it. Most likely I will need a little bit more of the color work because I kind of like it. As you can see, part of this color with the more like various part is more interesting, and it feels like it would be good to have it here. Maybe only this part, maybe not so many repeats. So again, I need to think a little bit about it. Maybe, yes, a couple of repeats, and then cut a strand of yarn on this side, so I can just remove part this length that I will add here. I will just need to remove over here. So this one is, again, needs some more attention and brain power, brain capacity. I don't want to unravel it because I like it, and it will definitely be very useful during colder winter days. And yeah, so for sure I will finish it. Another fun project that I'm working on, I'm keeping it in this Christmas lights box, which has a lot of meaning. Maybe not a lot, but which has some meaning to it, because these are the light bulbs pattern. I don't remember. So these, let me show them to you. Ding, ding, ding. These are crocheted light bulbs, and eventually once you are done with making them, you have a tail of yarn that you keep it on after you bound off the stitches. So in the end, you would attach them to one long string, and you will have like Christmas lights without lights. And they are fun. As you can see, colorful. I also use scrap yarn to make them. It's just going slow. And yeah, but my plan is to eventually finish with them. Another thing that is slowing me down is that I was adapting the pattern because the pattern was calling for finer yarn that I'm using. I'm using around, I believe it is around weight yarn, like 100 meters in 50 grams. And the pattern, I think it calls for decay or something. So, or even, no, maybe decay. Anyway, so as you can see, the size of the light bulbs is different. It is because I started with the same amount of stitches that the pattern said to make, and the bulb was a little bit too big. So I decided to decrease the amount of stitches. And I think I was gradually decreasing them and decreasing. So as you can see, they were getting smaller. Oh, let me arrange them. They were getting smaller and smaller. As a result, I forgot how much stitches I was crocheting, and I'm not a big crocheter, and it is a little bit too hard for me to figure it out just to read the pattern. I mean, it is possible, but yeah, maybe I'm not so motivated to sit and think about it. But it is a fun project, and I mean, I think I should finish with it because it will be fun eventually closer to Christmas time. Actually, it is Christmas soon, so maybe this year, if not next year, it would be great to have it and yeah, have it somewhere here and to bring more some festive mood to the room. Yeah, and again, I'm using scrap yarn for that, so there is no need to unravel and repurpose it because I don't have much of yarn left of every color. So I think I will continue keeping it in this box and gradually add more and more light bulbs. By the way, I didn't mention that I after I crocheted the bulb itself, I would put the filling that you use to make the stuffed animals, or not animals, but anything that you would, there is this, I don't remember how this called. It is like, looks like a cloud. So you would put it inside to keep the shape. So yeah, once I'm done crocheting it, I just fill it with this filler. Bear with me, there are not so many projects left. Next one is a mitten that I started making maybe a year ago or something. The pattern for it is Sagostad mittens by Sofia Kammeborn, if I'm not mixing it up. So the mitten itself is fun. I already have one of those mittens in the blue color, and I decided to make a very, very light pink version with low contrast. As you can see, I made one mitten without a thumb, so I need to make another one, obviously with a thumb, and finish this one. I wear the blue version a lot. It is just lives in one of my jackets, and it is a very cute pattern. I don't feel like unraveling it, and I believe I need to finish and start wearing them because they are very, very cute. All right, we have 2 projects left. And one of them is socks. Are socks? Socks. This is my go-to sock pattern. I don't follow any pattern for that one. It's like a compilation of different techniques that I picked up while making different socks. And yeah, this one works the best for me. I think people, the knitters who make socks, they are divided often by those who prefer knitting socks toe up and from the cuff down, I think it is called. As you can guess, I'm a toe up person. I like this way of making socks because if I'm not sure if I have enough yarn, or I want to use the yarn almost 100%, the toe-up sock is a very good way to do it, because you can just continue knitting on it as far as you feel like. For example, this one is quite high, and I can just roll it down if I don't need this height. You know how it works. And also for the socks, for the heels, I prefer the German short rose heels. It is just the nice fitting way of making the heel. So all in all, it is a very nice, easy and quick way of making socks. And for this one, I also want to make a video, just a simple video tutorial showing people how I make socks, and maybe if they never tried, it is a good way of starting, because it uses a very thick yarn and 5mm needles, if I remember correctly. So it is a very quick knit, just basically a couple of days knit and you have a pair of socks. So yeah, definitely not a frog pile. I just need to find time to, yeah, it is the same thing that is stopping me from finishing it, is that I need to find time to make the video how I do it, because I have one, I need to make another one with, yeah, with the video recording, so people can follow. And I think, yeah, once I find the time and motivation to do it, I will finish it, because now it is winter here in Norway and it would be great to have a pair of warm socks. So one day it will be a tutorial, and please follow my channel if you're up to make some socks. And the last one, we are there. Let me show it to you. Ding, ding, ding. And this is the Hey Sailor cardigan from Andrea Mowry. Also a great pattern of from Andrea Mowry. I love the color combination. I'm using merino, 100% merino yarn in my version, and she's using the combination of merino and cotton. But when I was buying the yarn, they didn't have one of those colors. I didn't remember, possibly red. They didn't have it in stock, so I decided to go with just 100% merino yarn. And but the specs for the yarn is the same, but besides the combination that there is no cotton in my yarn. So what was stopping me from finishing it is that I started making it sometime in the spring, and I was knitting a lot. As you can see, I'm almost done with the body. It is cropped cardigan. So I was knitting a lot and wanted to finish it before the summer. So once the summer is here, I can wear it. But as you can guess, I didn't finish it in time, and then I just lost the motivation and started working on something else. And also, there is a lot of purling here. And also, I mean, I'm okay with the purling, but the thing is that you have these strands of yarn, because, you know, there are slip stitches in the pattern. And on different sides, I just, when I knit it, every time I'm passing this slip stitch area, I'm being very concentrated about how long the strand behind is, so so it is not squeezed, you know, so the float is not too short, that so in the end the color work looks nice. And it is not the most mindful knit, I should say. So yeah, again, half of it is purling and those slip stitches, and all in all, it's not as fun. And another thing that I should mention, I'm working on a t-shirt design, and for that one, I'm using this whitish greenish yarn behind me for the solid version. And I also have in mind that maybe I want to make a striped version with this red and white, because I love the color combination of those two. And you know, I'm doubting, should I finish the Hey Sailor, or should I use this yarn for the design that I'm working on? And maybe I can just buy more yarn in those colors and make the t-shirt in those. But I'm not sure if I need two t-shirts, because this cardigan, it is a short sleeve version. I'm not sure if I need so much t-shirts in my life. I live in Norway, it is quite cold here, and in the summer, yes, there is some maybe 2 months that I can actually wear those t-shirts, but I'm not sure how many t-shirts, knitted woolen t-shirts I need in my life. That's why I'm a bit doubting, should I finish the Hey Sailor or not. That's why this one, I feel like I need another pile or just put it back in the drawer. That I'm still not sure what I should do with this one. Anyway, this is it. These are my works in progress. Please share in the comments how many simultaneous projects you have. And as I mentioned, I have 11 of them. It is not mentioning the designs that I'm working on. I don't consider them like long-lasting works in progress, because I do work on them because I have a lot of motivation. With those, I'm just like, I'm picking them up when I feel like. Anyway, I think I need to take under control my works in progress, because I have not enough needles. And I need to finish something so I have more needles in my life to cast on new projects. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new videos from me, and see you in the next videos. Bye!